Hello, Sonia Barrett here. And, over the years, I have had so many people email me with questions, just such a variety of questions about things that are either going on in their lives or what to do spiritually in terms of growing, in terms of, expanding, wanting so much more. And what I found, I think, challenging is figuring out, exactly what to tell someone when you know that you can't really answer their question in 2 sentences, or to even give them, step 1 or step 2, do this thing and then do that thing. How do I raise my consciousness? It's a big picture, but at the same time, in a way, it's not. And so I have done a series of workshops over the years, and I've never really stopped for just the general public to just sort of maybe either give a description of what they are, or just to create a video that just sort of summarizes or mentions a number of them, for the simple purpose of anybody who gets on YouTube and maybe has some of these questions that I've gotten over the years, to at least know that I've done these workshops. And again, the importance of me mentioning these workshops is because we have addressed so many things in those workshops over the several years, that to try to condense an explanation, for someone in a paragraph, or even just an email, or even meeting with them twice, you can't really do justice. You can help, it's still assisting, but I know the journey. I understand the challenge of this journey. I know from all extremes of this experience how challenging it is, and what some of the things are that one has to do, things you have to be able to be willing to let go of, insights about ourselves, lifestyle. There's just so many things, and I do feel that we grow into many of those changes. I don't feel that anything should be forced, but we grow into these changes. But in order to even begin growing into those changes, certain questions have to be asked. We have to ask ourselves certain questions, and we have to decide if we're in it for the long haul, what kind of transformation are we really looking for? Is it just something very temporary, something very small? For me, it's always been the magnitude of whatever this journey is, whatever it is that will take me beyond this limiting and limited experience on this level of being a human being. And so I'm just going to give you a list of a few of these workshops that I have done. I've done several 6 months workshops. I'll start there. I've done several. And prior to those 6 months workshops, I had done a few others. So I'll address those after I mention the 6 months workshops. And when I say 6 months workshops, what we did was we would meet for 6 months, once per month, and that gave everybody an opportunity to work on whatever we talked about, work on themselves, own the process, whatever that process is for them during the course of that month, and then we come back again the following month, and so on for a 6 months period. When I first did this, I had no idea or no intention of doing a series of 6 months workshops. And that's sort of how I've done everything. Nothing is ever really planned to the extreme. But I decided I was going to do a workshop called The Art of Alchemy, and that was going to be a 6 months workshop. Well, it ran 6 months, and then it went into another 6 months. So that became the Art of Alchemy Reformation. And we all experienced just phenomenal changes, just lots of things that we discovered about ourselves in the process. And I've been part of my workshops when I do these workshops. So I'm not just facilitating them, but I'm part of them, and I'm growing as well. And then the next workshop that we did after that, I believe, was Spending Your Life, Changing Your Perception of Time and Money. And that workshop really was sort of born out of the realization that we spend our life, we always talk about how we spend our life. You know, we spend time, and what else do we spend? We spend money. So I realized that there was this huge correlation between all three of those things, and all three of those things were things that we were programmed to believe that we ran out of. You ran out of life, you ran out of time, you ran out of money. And so I wanted to take a bigger look at that, the science of that as well, and to look at our programming, what we've been programmed with about this finite experience about our life, about time, about money. And so that's how that workshop was born. And that was 6 months as well. And then we went on to Limitless. And we moved into I cannot even begin to explain what that was, but the two workshops prior to that, The Art of Alchemy, both of those, and then Spending Your Life, Changing Your Perception of Time and Money. Now, the growth from those workshops, we were simply taking those and moving it into limitless. Now we were going on to a whole different level. Then after that was completed, then came Unplugged. Again, nobody knew that these workshops were going to happen. So Unplugged took us yet to another level. So we thought we were done with that. Then came the next workshop, which was Advanced. And the reason why it was called Advanced is because now there was a space where I didn't know what to call it. It wasn't about titles anymore. It wasn't about me planning these workshops ahead of time with massive, outline. It wasn't about that. So we had no idea what that was going to be, and we saw that happening throughout the course of the other workshops, that when it was time to meet, I would clearly tell you that I didn't know exactly what it was going to be, but by that morning the workshop would show up. And so that was all part of learning how to let go and to be completely online. And it wasn't about over PowerPoints and all of that, but it was about really being open and really being online in the ultimate internet, the ultimate web, and just allowing that information to unfold and to share and to experience that process. So that was actually a very huge piece, that letting go, because we're all used to structure and setting up things, just making sure it's a safety measure for us, because we know where we're going. Because what is it that we don't like as human beings? We don't like the unpredictable, and so that's why we struggle with change so much. We don't know where we're going. It's for us, it's like walking into the dark. And what I've learned is that with this game, and I've always called it a game, with this game, the ultimate out, or the ultimate transition from this level of the game, is that really that piece, is to be able to let go of much of what we thought we knew, much of how we think we need to operate, is being able to let go of much of that, because honestly, it is all programmed responses. And I'm not doing a lecture now, but anyway, but I just wanted to bring all of that together. And so with understanding this, those workshops ended. I did the last one, and I don't foresee doing any more 6 months workshop. I've moved into a whole other space with this now. Not that I'm not going to do lectures and workshops, because I am doing one in January, but you know, that's here at my home. But anyway, so many of these people have taken all of these workshops, have been, you know, with me throughout the course of this journey. And so it was a little bit different for them, because they had that information from here, from that level on moving forward. So then when somebody asked me, how do, you know, what do I do about this? All I can think in my head is, my goodness, look at the transformation that we've had, and everybody has had, from, you know, 3, maybe 2.5, 3, 4 years ago of doing these workshops. So much, there's so much that happens in us in terms of changing, so much, and that's all I can say. But they're all in these workshops. Prior to these workshops, I had done Beyond the Frequency of Doubt. Now, these workshops weren't 6 months workshops, but they were they were split up anywhere from 2 parts to 6 parts, but they just weren't done over the course of 6 months, but, you know, weekly. I think it was in that format. So Beyond the Frequency of Doubt was one of the first bigger workshops in that sense. Hacking the Mind and Breaking Reality Codes, Relationship Matrix. Relationship Matrix, sometimes we look at the title and we think, oh, it's on relationships. But all my workshops are just never what they appear to be. It's just never what they seem. And this was not about just your you know, male-female relationship or romantic relationships. It wasn't about that. It was our relationship with everything, and the realization that we were in a relationship with animate and inanimate, you know, objects, everything, which is how we are having our experience. It's the emotional exchange, emotional relationship that we have with our entire environment, with everything around us, which really is a huge realization. It brought up a lot of things for many people, and a lot of things were realized in terms of maybe why their lives were probably the way that they were, and the people, friends, family, certain situations that they were dealing with, whether it be in the workplace as well, as to what was really going on. Understanding more about our story through these relationships that we have. And the next one, excuse me, was Stop Running from the Matrix. That one was actually, I think, done based on the idea that I've often heard so many people, even people who are out there doing lectures or workshops, you know, they always make it seem like we're trying to escape the game. And what I've learned is that it has nothing to do with escaping, because escaping always means fear. It means that we're running. We haven't really mastered this. And when we master it, when we come into an understanding, we realize that there really is nothing to run from. We understand more about the illusion. And so that was the idea behind Stop Running from the Matrix, because you're really trying to run from yourself and the stories and the hologram that we create, that we are operating in. Excuse me. And so that was the idea of that. So it's not about running. Running is just another part of the game. The idea of trying to get away from something is just another part of the game. And the game is just, it's so many layers to it. And two other workshops that were done in between these 6 months workshops was time simulation and the engineering of reality, which was, I did it over a 2-day period, 2-day workshop / lecture, and that held a tremendous amount of information as well in terms of time simulations and understanding more about how we create these, time bubbles is what we really create in terms of the experiences that we're having. And the next one was recoding the female body system. And that was the first time I'd done any workshop on that related to women. And when I used the word female, I meant that truly from the frequency aspect of who we are as male and as female, the positive and negative charge. And so that started out as a 2-part workshop, and I think ended up in 8 parts. I think it was 12 hours by the time we were done, but it was broken up over a period of a couple of weeks, a few weeks. And so the other thing I want to point out too is, this for me is not about that. This is another part of the illusion. It's not about running out there trying to save people. I want to go out there because, the world needs what I have to say, and I need to go and I need to save the world. I think that's another component in the game. The game is very tricky, and we get caught in all these pockets and all these pieces because we think, we've got to get out there and we've got to tell them exactly how it is. Might be how it is for me, it might be how it is for you, but it doesn't mean that that person necessarily might need, what you're experiencing right now. So the greatest gift, again, that we can give to what we define as the world or reality is to really begin to work on ourselves. Because when we do work on ourselves in a profound way, I'm not talking from the fluff way that we hear about, but from a very deep, profound way, when we do that, we truly set in motion in a conscious manner what quantum physics talks about in terms of the observer effect, how we affect reality, how we create our own holograms, the reality that we are operating in, and the people that we draw to us, and the experience that we have and the interaction that we have with what we view as the rest of the world, which is really all of our immediate surroundings or immediate environment on a daily basis. You begin to understand more about you. And as is said in the Matrix, this is where it really shows up that there is no spoon. It is you that bends. It really is no spoon, which means everything else around us that we see as our world and our environment and all the people that we think we have to save and so on and so forth. There is no spoon. It doesn't exist. It's you. It's you. You are the one that is bending. You are the one that is creating the experience, hence the environment. Because whatever you think you are and whatever the experiences are, whatever you hold inside you as a belief, as a perception about what reality is, your personal reality, then the environment that we operate in then has to meet the conditions then of that perception or that belief. And that's how we have the experiences that we end up having. Whether we enjoy those experiences or not enjoy them, they're all part of a greater purpose, and is gifting us with an evolution that sometimes we don't really understand or recognize. But everything about our lives is significant, and it should be honored, it should be embraced, because it's giving you something. And the beauty for me, even though I don't choose to have to experience some of the things that I've experienced in my life. The beauty for me is that I have been able to recognize the stepping stone, that they were stepping stones, and and what they gifted me with, and so there's no regret on anything that I have lived. There is no regret. I'm always learning. I'm still learning. So I think that's an important piece, because sometimes we tend to see people who are out there doing a lot of the lectures and so on and so forth, and we forget that they are still growing. We are still here. We are in a body. We're still here. We are still growing. And there's never an ultimate. There is no ultimate growth. There is no ultimate growth. It is a forever, we're forever expanding into more and more of what is possible. So when somebody says to you, I've got all the answers, run very far. If somebody tells you in such a final manner that, they know, and I've had people say that. I've had people call, I've had, me messages saying that they have all the answers that are needed for this particular thing. Anyway, there's so much more to it, and I think it's a matter of just being able to really just let go and know that there is no ultimate conclusion. Our search for the ultimate conclusion is really just to make us comfortable. And I don't invest either in the fact that we are going to, run off to just the fifth or the sixth dimension or whatever. I think a lot of those understandings make us comfortable because we so need to have specifics. We so need to know exactly where we're going. We don't like the unknown. And so when we start pinning it down as to what dimension we're landing in, you just create another limitation for yourself. You really do. Because in the end, none of it really exists in the manner that we think that it does. However, it does exist in order for us to have the experience and in order for us to just continue to expand and to create, if I may use that word, create, but to expand into the more, into the allness of what we already are, the fullness of what we already are. So I say, enjoy, and just know that there's always going to be more. There's always going to be more. But anyway, I think I've kind of given you a summary of these workshops, lectures. This is the best way that I can tell you. I just cannot tell you in 2 words, but I have, to the best of my ability, and in those moments when I did those workshops, when I did those, all of these are workshops actually, when I did all of these workshops, I gave all of what was available and present at that moment, coming through me and coming through everybody else that was part of all of these workshops, all of these experiences with me, because you're able to hear all of these people talking and exchanging and listening to them in their own growth. And for some of the people who have been in the workshops from the very beginning, from several years ago, when you hear them in the very beginning, years back, and you hear them towards the end of it, it's just amazing. You hear it, that they're a completely different person. Not because I made them different, but because they woke up to who they are. They began to wake up to aspects of themselves, and nobody can do this change for you. I don't care how much you pay for it. I don't care what somebody tells you. You are the one that has to do the work. What I do is I present information that triggers, you, not just you, but it's triggered me. It has triggered me as well, into waking up to either memories or waking up to knowing exactly, where you want to go in terms of forging forging ahead. And so this is how I view all of this. And I think, yeah, we definitely always have to maintain humility in this process of awakening. What else did I want to say? There's something else. There's always something else that I want to add. Oh geez, in terms of this, well, it's not coming to me right now. But if you have any questions, be sure to email me, Sonia, SoniaBarr @yahoo.com. And you can also go right to the website, spiritinform.com. And these are all available there. There's, of course, the DVDs from all the lectures that I've also done at many of these other venues. Oh, what I wanted to point out is that because not everybody was able to attend these lectures, these workshops, or at the time before these workshops, what I've done is I have created a subscription, several levels or options, subscription options, which will allow you to purchase or receive these workshops, all the way down. For, I think it's maybe every 2 weeks, but basically you're paying a monthly subscription for it, and you can do it that way if it works for you, or you can just purchase the workshops straight from the website, the full series of workshops. And they are greatly reduced, and I'm saying that only for the fact that, yes, people who were there, who took these workshops, obviously they invested more in order to participate live in the workshops. So I think that's it. I think I've covered everything. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for all your support. Continue to seek, continue to expand, and if I can be of assistance, just email me and I'll do the best I can. But as I said, a lot of what you might need to know that I can say to you are all in those workshops. All right, take care.